Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. For those of you that don't remember, my name is Jared Esther. We are going to talk about the history of Halloween and some of the traditions and cultural roots. So let's see if I can figure out Google Meets. A window. Can you see this?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, so the origins and meaning of Halloween. The word Halloween is actually a contraction from Scotland. The long version is All Halloween Even. It originally started with a Celtic festival of Samhain. Over time, Halloween evolved into a day of activities like trick-or-treating, carving jack-o'-lanterns, festival greetings, all that kind of fun stuff, but it has a lot darker roots. Initially, the day marks holiday honoring all the saints of church past and present. So this is a Catholic holiday to begin with. Let's see, next slide. Oh, shoot. That is the next slide. Okay. This initially started as a holiday designated by Pope Gregory III on November 1st as a time to honor all the saints. So just like Christmas has an eve, Christmas Eve, this is essentially the eve of the day to honor all saints past and present. Hence the original name, All Halloween Even. Even is a Latin root relating to the day before. Some of the traditions, like jack-o'-lanterns, started out by being carved into turnips, and then later on they switched to pumpkins because it is a better kind of a canvas for, making the artwork. Pumpkins are generally bigger, easier to carve. I don't know if anybody's ever cooked with turnips, but they're really hard and really difficult to cut into. So in a lot of aspects, pumpkins are safer because you're less likely to slip and cut yourself. Some of the textures you can get with pumpkins are also a lot more creative. You can scrape the skin instead of cutting all the way through and create shadowing and all sorts of things. People have gone as far as making recognizable faces, playing around with shadowing and how deep they cut. Jack-o'-lanterns actually are based on a history of a story called, or rather a legend of Stingy Jack. Now, Stingy Jack, according to the story, invited the devil to have a drink with him. True to his name, Stingy Jack didn't want to pay for his drink, so he convinced the devil to turn himself into a coin that Jack could use to buy their drinks. Once he did so, Jack decided to keep the money and actually break the deal, which prevented the devil from changing him back into his original form. However, the devil was displeased with this. Upset by the trick he played on him, he kept his word and did not allow him back into the underworld. Ever since then, Jack has been wandering the earth with the burning coal he put inside of a turnip lantern, trying to find a way back into the afterlife. But to the day, he has not succeeded. Let's see. Do you, ladies and gentlemen, have any folk tales or stories from your hometown regarding a similar holiday? Anything about people being banned or forbidden into the afterlife because of their actions? Maybe I need to call on someone. Lao Huahon, can you tell me something about your hometown? No. Okay. All right. So 3 additional points for the team who pipes up. And I'm sorry, Kai, but you're not going to qualify for this one. You have been such a participant. We got to give somebody else a chance to answer. Can anybody tell me a tradition from your hometown they've heard, kind of like a ghost story, or somebody was
Oh,
misbehaving?
that's awesome. Fireworks on New Year's to scare the evil dragon away.
Very nice. Why is the dragon evil?
The dragon is trying to take everything from us, take the food, everything. So the red thing out and kill fireworks. Let the dragon go away.
To scare him away. Somebody said it. Oh goodness! Somebody said that they eat the livestock and including people too. So yeah, I would want to scare that away too.
Woo.
Okay, very nice. Bobbing for apples.
Oh, somebody has a question.
Oh, what's the question? Go ahead.
I think Taiwan has one festival. It's like it's called Ghost Festival, and it's on 7 lunar months.
So after, go ahead.
And people will prepare some food on the table, and some people think the ghost will eat it, or and
Yeah, you're fine. Go ahead. Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay, very good.
That's awesome.
I'm always reminded by other cultures. A lot of the stories, you know, I thought Halloween was a scary time when I was growing up, but a lot of the stories kind of dwarf ours in the United States. Kind of makes you not sleep at night sometimes, you know? All right, so bobbing for apples is another Halloween tradition. Honestly, growing up, I only did it once. I had commented earlier that I accidentally breathed in some water. That was not a fun experience for me, but maybe if I tried again, I would have more fun. This actually started as a way to um, tell somebody, in your class or in your community that you liked them. It was a romantic thing. So the game would start with bobbing for apples. You're not allowed to use your hands. And if you got the apple on the first attempt, if the lady was the one to play the game, and if she got the apple on the first attempt, she would the person that she cared for would be destined for romance. If she succeeded with her second attempt, however, they would succeed in starting to date, but their love would soon fade later on. And if it took her 3 tries, their relationship was doomed from the start. It wasn't gonna to grow into anything. So kind of a lot riding on a simple game for fruit, you know?
You know, tying into the whole girls versus boys thing, when I was a kid, my brother's birthday is in October, which is very close to Halloween. And so he had a birthday party with apple bobbing. And so I was the only girl at my brother's birthday party, right? And so there were lots and lots of apples in the bucket. And so I pulled the most apples out of anyone at the party. I beat all the boys. So girls, I want you to do the same. Okay.
Do you guys have competitions with your siblings, your brothers and sisters? Kind of like a rivalry going on? Who wins more often? Okay. Oh, and I had mentioned previously that jack-o'-lanterns started out as being carved from turnips. Personally, I think the turnip jack-o'-lantern is a lot creepier looking. I mean, this kind of can be fun and artsy. Orange is a bright, happy color in a lot of cultures, but this just kind of screams small town horror story. All right, so trick-or-treating is also, with many of the Halloween traditions, rooted in a lot of history, a few hundred years back. Started in Celtic, Christianity cultures where poor people would actually visit the houses of the wealthier families in settlements and receive something called soul cakes in exchange for the trick-or-treaters' promise. And they weren't called trick-or-treaters at the time, but it was in exchange for a promise to pray for the souls of the homeowner's dead relatives. This was known as souling, and the practice was much later taken up by children who would go from door to door asking for gifts such as, food and money. But it originally was a way to, sort of fundraise for your family when times were tough. People usually go out at night accompanied by their parents, but I remember going out as a kid and having some really cool adult Halloween costumes. Like I remember something that actually I want to do it someday. Someone was a 2-story tall, that's like, here in the United States, a story is about 10 feet. It's a unit of measurement for buildings. And there was a guy that was a Grim Reaper, kind of a black outfit, a scythe for cutting wheat. He was a Grim Reaper that was 2 stories tall, and I thought it was the coolest thing. He was on stilts, and it was, I don't know, it was creepy, but it was really well done. Let's see, do we have any questions? Do you guys do any sort of costume events yourself? Oh, and yes, the turnip jack-o'-lantern does look like a mummy, doesn't it? A lot of it is because the turnip skin is much harder, so it doesn't fall apart like the pumpkin does.
It's creepy.
Also, the trick or treat part is, early on it started out as just, people were asking for prayers for their dead relatives. But if the deal wasn't upheld one way or the other, there would be malicious, people would retaliate for breaking the deal. But nowadays it's just a meaningless threat, troublemakers being mischievous. Sometimes teens here in the US will do things like toilet paper a house. I only remember seeing that once growing up, but it's a mess to clean up, as you can imagine.
I did that once.
You went TPing?
Yeah.
Oh no.
We went to our youth leaders' house. So we had a youth group, and we went to our leader's house, and everybody came, and we brought 2 rolls of toilet paper, and we threw them over the. So should I tell you how to do it? You take the toilet paper and throw it, and it makes a big stream. So if you throw it in their trees, it gets caught and things like that. We didn't do that. We weren't super mean, but we threw it out on the lawn, and then we felt really bad because apparently the next morning his sprinklers went off, and so all of the toilet paper got wet. So it was really hard to clean up. So I think some of us came back the next day and helped with cleanup. Oh, you're muted?
So touching on earlier from the costumes, they're usually based on scary, often supernatural creatures, ghosts, skeletons, zombies, werewolves, anything of, Halloween lore or kind of scary fantasies. Movie characters are also a common thing. People will dress up as, Captain America or the Hulk you know, anything like that. Is it not switching? There we go. Anybody from my teaching group, do you guys have any activities that you did as a kid? Anything that was maybe out of the ordinary Halloween tradition?
I don't think I have anything out of the ordinary. Just
No.
everything.
Did you ever do bobbing? Is it bobbing for apples when growing up?
I think I maybe tried it one time, but not very.
It wasn't
much.
terribly common.
Yeah.
All right, and then finally we've got haunted houses. I couldn't really find a whole lot of history on this, but basically it just plays into people's, so with Christmas, you know, with one sec, I'm having technical issues. With Christmas, people get into the spirit, you know, trying to bring Santa Claus for gifts and goodies. With Halloween, people like to get into kind of a spooky spirit. And as mentioned earlier, the corn mazes are actually just a way for the farms to make money, because once they've harvested the corn, it's just, you know, dead corn stalks sitting there, and it's an opportunity for the families to come out and have fun, bring attention to their business. And that's it for mine. Any questions? All right. Ryan,